two things before we start the video. I'm not really a build crafter or showing you guys exactly, and you don't need to use this build. I just mainly the videos could just be showing you the run that I did on my solo hunter here, and just looking at the route that I take. I'm not really using, you know, a grapple or eager edge. You don't have to. So I'm just showing you guys, well, as long as you have DPS for the bosses, as long as you go fast enough during the traversal for the exotic mission, you can make it there to the boss room with like at least 6 minutes or 4 minutes, and 3 minutes is good enough time to beat the boss around there. Now, the other thing is going to be going over the two emblems here. There is the Oblation I and Oblation II. So for Oblation 1, for what I can show you guys, I did that for doing a Grandmaster finish or difficulty for in the Pinnacle Ops. I don't know if it's a random or not, but I did Bloodline, and I'll show you guys what it looked like. So you see here, I pick Grandmaster for my run on Pinnacle Ops, and then at the end of this mission here, you can see that once we kill the boss here, I'm not sure if I went further enough to see how much damage. I don't think I did. This build kind of sucked, to be honest with you, but I gotta just test some stuff here and there. Anyways, so that being said, once we kill the boss, it just pops up on the objective complete, and it just gave us the emblem. I don't know if it's random. I don't know if it's Grandmaster. Either or, you can see on the right side, Oblation 1. Now, of course, to get the Oblation 2, you'll need to beat the Oblation from start to finish in under 30 minutes to get the triumph. That's a new PB, and that is how you get the emblems. So if you're looking to get those two emblems, one, I don't know, for me, Grandmaster, maybe any of the Pinnacle Ops would drop it, and then two, beat the 30-minute speed run basically of the mission. Now then, like I said, I'm gonna show you guys the build that I use. You don't have to use this. Use whatever you want that you think that's good for DPS. I did this on a solo hunter on solo. You could be in a, and don't get me wrong, you can be in a party of 3. It's just more of a challenge if you want to do this solo. Here are the mods I'm running, and then here are the artifact mods that I'm running as well. Weapons, which can be kind of important, and then a gunslinger, which we'll go over the aspects here. So we're using knock 'em down and crackpot. I'm using Empyrean, torches, ashes, and singeing. Gamma dodge, very important. Fan of knives or knife trick, and whatever you want to use for those. And then blade barrage. All right. Now, for weapons, or for me, mint, or at least a strand weapon would be preferably. Micro is very good. And then Yeartide Apex, which is a weapon you can get in one of the monuments in the tower, the solstice weapons. You can redeem those for legendary marks. And then I'm also using the lustrous grips, which is a solstice armor set. Get those also from the monument, and redeem those from the engram. And then for exotic armor, I'm using speedloader slacks. This is a exotic hunter boots that gives you class ability energy as long as you're doing sustained damage. So you'll be getting your class ability consistently as long as you're doing damage, and then dodging reloads all your weapons and grants you reload and all that stuff. It's very good for this build with crack shot. And then for exotic, we're using dragon's breath just for extra damage, and with a catalyst with it, it does help quite a bit. All right, so that's just a build. We'll show you guys the gameplay and how it runs, but this is what I like to use. I used it before when in the reclaim ability, or reclaim activity, and so I liked it a lot there. It's a little not as now. Used to be better back in the day. So starting this mission, like I said, you don't need to use Eager's Edge. You don't need to use grapple. You could if you want, if you're very familiar with those. Very start of this mission, we are just gonna straight up just drop off the cliff, and this should give us to the very first spot of what we need to do. We're gonna have this enforcer. I would like to use my fan of knives to break its shield, and then using crack shot to trigger the ignition, and it should just quickly kill the enforcer with crack shot. If you don't know, so it's a new aspect. You could buy it at Ikora, and then you could use it. It is an ability where if you land 3 shots on a target, it will cure you and scorch quite heavily, with also all the fragments and artifact mods, but it's very strong to keep yourself alive. So this generator thing, we're using the mint to break and one-shot the vents, and once we're at the very last vent, we're gonna just slowly walk towards the cannon. So we're just at the more efficient way of walking and making sure that we can just not waste time and getting shot by the enemies. We try to ignore the enemies if we can, but it is a lot of practice with this route. Um, it's you need to save as much time as you want, unless you have like some god build that can like one shot everything. So I like to shoot both the vents, and then the vents, they are like the opposite of each other, so they always be two open at the same time. You can shoot them on the sides, makes it a little bit easier. So I always go for the one for the very back one, because you have to go this direction for the once you finish the second one or third one, I mean. So then I break the three, and then I try to walk as far as possible when the vent is open, and then just break it from afar and make my way to the next area. This is where the shielded scion is, and we're just gonna go ahead and just try to clear as fast as possible here, and try to scorch, ignite to break and kill things in one shot. Now, this is a pretty decent pace. We're at 28 minutes, I think, so about 2 minutes to clear the beginning area. Here we have a small skip here to make the jumping part much easier and traverse. So we're going to go on to the rocks. Be a bit hard to see on video, but you should really see them in game if you're in the game. We're going to go very close to the lip of this wall here, so you don't just jump off, because it's a bit of a slant. And we're just going to jump our way up all the way to the top there. All right. And so, like I said, it's not a hard mission. It's just speed and taking the right turns and not getting lost. It takes a lot of practice of where to go and knowing where to go. Like it's very important that even if you do this for the first time and you do mess up quite a bit, still keep just run it. You know, practice. You have to practice sometimes. Of course, like I said, you don't have to do it solo. You can just do this for people. A group of people. It makes it a lot easier for doing it and getting it done. All right. Time isn't an issue with the people, that's for sure. Anyway, so following this route, making sure to get the most efficient way possible, and then we are good to go. So one thing I didn't talk about is there's Solo Operative that is active or in the artifact. Solo Operative is a perk where if you're solo, you want to have that on, and every time you get a headshot kill on an enemy, you get stacks of weapon damage. So the more stacks you have, you will have more weapon damage. Only for weapons only. If you die, it will reset the stacks. So it's very important to kind of do this flawlessly. You don't have to. There are some points which I'll mention during the video where you can farm some kills for some stacks, but at the most of the time, you're skipping most of the enemies and trying to survive. Your crack shot, like I said, it's kind of like a devour, but not really. It's just one way, easy way to get your health back in a decently. It's not for sure, but at least landing 3 shots on the enemy, you're guaranteed to get some health back, and it does help a lot during the boss phases as you're mainly just spamming crack shot. And you'll see how it goes with spamming crack shot on bosses with the speed slack, whatever, speed loaders, whatever you call them. I don't know. Anyways, very simple. This one, you just got to go quick and just know where to go. Getting everything, try to ignore all the enemies, try to use your knives as much as possible to get some stacks, get some radiance, get your crack shot heals. And all you're doing is just trying to make yourself up the path over here, right? From here, I like to throw my knives at it and then crack shot it usually. But I think I messed up. I know the knives one-shot these, but I crack shot instead for some reason. I didn't kill one of the wizards. So I kind of messed this one up a little bit. Like some of the lost time there. But not that bad. And then here, you can fully see how this build works against boss TPs. You might not like it. You might not think it's that strong, but it does the job. All right, it does the job. I'll be honest with you. So what I like to do at the beginning here, I like to just use my super just to break this phase here. I think it's a waste of time just shooting him. Let's just get the super done over with. You don't really need the super for DPS most of the time. It is pretty strong, but I don't think we really need it at the moment. So what I do for now, once we are in this phase, I like to just stay in one of the rooms so that the boss isn't distracted that much. Because he'll start shooting you. He'll shoot the hive, obviously, but this just makes it a little bit easier. And so here's one of the points where Solo Operative, you can just farm for some headshots here. and get your damage boost up for your weapons. So it's a good chance to do that. It's maybe like 6 or 8 seconds in that room, and then just go to the where the wizards are going to spawn. You can see where the green orb is on either side. If it's not on any other sides, then in the middle area over here. All right. So there is that. And now we're going to be doing the DPS rotation here. You may not like this, but here we go. So DPS rotation. Sometimes depends on what I start off. I like to just throw my knives or Dragon's Breath first and throw my knives, then Craig Shot here. And then swap to Mint sometimes and shoot Mint to get the Unravel rounds. With Sever on as well, then Craig Shot or Dragon's Breath, and making sure that when you do Dragon's Breath, you're not next to the boss. You do have to be slightly close to the boss to use Craig Shot, but with Dragon's Breath, if you're too close to the boss, and in the final explosion of Dragon's Breath, it will one-shot you. So you do got to be a bit careful when using Dragon's Breath. You do have to be a little bit out of range for it, but it does do a lot of damage, and yeah, you just want to play a little bit mid-range, making sure a Craig Shot is hitting, and then you're also shooting your guns to recharge your class ability. And that's pretty much the build there. I'm not saying you're completely safe, but as long as you have, you know, a decent amount of stats in class, about 100, and then melee has like at least 70, and then, you know, your weapons have some weapon stats. You should be good to go in terms of being able to spam and stuff. As long as your weapon is shooting, then you'll be able to what do you call it, recharge your class ability pretty easily. It does give a lot back when you're shooting for submachine gun, at least this one. You don't have to use the same weapons, but it does help round out the build for the most part. All right, so I use my super there, not much. Then here you'll see the damage coming in here, and the rotation. Dragon's Breath, Mint, and then Craig Shot, then knives, then swap to another gun, Dragon's Breath, Craig Shot, knife, shoot gun. It's just pretty much, it's just that. And you can see how we're kind of like always in the air, because Craig Shot kind of lets you be in the air for a bit. So there we go. Anyways, now it's all about routing here. It's all about going fast, not dying, and just knowing where to go. I keep saying that a lot, but it's pretty much the truth, though. You just gotta know where to go, for the most part. Right. So now, first room, very easy. Very easy. One, all you gotta do, get to the knight, the vessel, and then just throw the 2 worms, basically. So very quickly, throw my knives, Craig Shot, then finisher. Put the buff in, pick up the worm, and quickly throw it over there. Now, when you're actually dunking the soul fire and it has the pickup worm prompt, do not do that. The animation will cancel out the pickup, so just wait until the animation is over, and then you can pick up the worm. Just wait a little, like couple seconds after. And also, do remember that the worm you can melee. So similar to like a sword, you jump melee, or jump hit. You will go and lunge yourself a little bit closer and a little bit faster than just running with it. So make sure to, if you want some extra speed, to jump melee, and you'll see me do it a couple times, obviously, with that. So for this room, I like to jump on a little lip over here to the next to this door to get onto the bridge. What you need to do is kill the wizard first in order to spawn the vessel. So the wizard always spawns over there, and then the vessel spawns on the other side of this bridge. So kill wizard first. If you don't kill the wizard, it will not spawn the vessel. So make sure you do that to be quick. And then just try to ignore the ads if you can, or just use your blades or your knives at them. And then we got some worms to throw. So this first worm, we have to aim pretty high at the distance I'm throwing it. I do mess up this one. I go way higher than that. It just barely missed it. Okay, well, that sucks. It does, you lose a couple seconds there, but it's not as bad. I just gotta aim very high. They do seem to track when the worm is above it, so aiming high is pretty important. You just want to, because they will eventually just track towards the crystal, so aim pretty high, and it's pretty self-defense for this. So this part, you have some time to spend, so kill some thrall, hit some headshots to get your Solo Operative up, so that you can get that damage bonus, because right now you're waiting for the lanterns or whatever those platforms to lower down and raise up. So there's no real point to do that instantly. Pick up the worms. You can have like a couple of seconds to just farm some kills before it comes back down, and and then that's good time spent right there. All right. Now for the third room, nothing too complicated. This room, there's a couple things we do to make it a little bit better. So when you enter the room, you do want to start combat right away, as it spawns the vessel much earlier than normal. So make sure you just start the room early by killing the thralls in the beginning, and then get in the vessel. Then you want to go to the back of the room as fast as possible. And pick up the worms and head to the right side of the map. And you're just gonna throw the one down there, and don't be too fast for this one, but there's a timing for this. If you're fast enough, you can just have enough where before that other one goes too low, you might hit it. It might not be possible, but then pick another worm up, and you're gonna bring it to the next room. Now you might think, oh, I can just go to the room and pick up the worm in the room, but I think this is more efficient, because now I would recommend killing these acolyte out here to get the bonus for precision hits or precision kills. And once you do that, that's enough time to head back and pick up the worm. This is enough time after you kill those acolytes that it should be time to go. The pillar shouldn't be there. If it is there, you're a little bit too late, but if it's open, then you should be good to go. It's just the correct timing, really. If you can just get the worm from the outside and then kill the acolyte outside, then pick up the worm instantly after, you will be on perfect timing for the pillar of fire should not be there, I would say. So now we're gonna go last and down to the traversal. Like I said earlier in the video, if you are using grapple and if you're using eager edge sword, you could probably speed run this pretty easily, but here is the route I take that seems to be pretty good on at least hunter. I did do a little mistake at the end, but you don't have to do what I did. But anyways, we'll talk about it when we get there. So we have one of the lips here, or edges, and we're going to do a big long jump on hunter to this ledge, up to this lamp, and then up to the roof over here. And then we're going to do this crazy jump here on hunter. We're going to just hug this wall to the left, jump once, jump again, and then we're going to crack shot or dodge in the air to get on this platform. And that saves like maybe 20 seconds from going from the bottom. And then we're going to go all the way up to the top and the roof. And we could go up here or we could go for another platform, because here I went a little bit too far. And I wouldn't make this jump normally, but I didn't want to die, so I supered. You don't have to super. You could go to the more closer platform, but I just made a mistake, and to save my mistake, I decided to super. Anyways, now here we have the boss. The way the boss works, the vessel or the soul fire. The soul fire thrall will spawn either left or right. For me, it spawned on the right side here. So get the vessel, and then put it in the cauldron in the back here. And for this build, I'm able to one phase the ogre even without the super. Super does help a little bit, but that's fine. So here is the rotations here. So I knifed them, mint, dragon's breath, crack shot. Then I knifed again. Then I start shooting with my gun to get my crack shot again, crack shot. Then I dragon's breath, and you can see him kind of just permanently just getting ignition stun basically. So it's just a rotation of just keep making sure your things are all in rotation and using your crack shot whenever you have it up. And pretty much that's that. As long as he has ammo. Sometimes you might not have heavy ammo, which kind of sucks, so we can't really do that. But here you see you one phase the ogre here pretty easily. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and do the other two. So the soulfire vessel will be left side or right side. For me, it's random, but usually the left side seems pretty easily always to be the case for this encounter or this phase of the encounter. I like to do the knight one first. It's up to preference to which one you want to do for knight or wizard first, or we could do them both at the same time. For me, I'll do knight first because the wizard phase of it isn't that scary. Sometimes you could bug out the knight to be stuck in the door. If not, then you gotta fight him outside. Now there's some spots for the knight where the wizard isn't an issue. So as long as you're in an area like right now, this wizard is kind of shooting me, but now it's rotating to the other side of the map. So there's nothing else really shooting me, and plus your ignitions are big enough where it will hit other enemies nearby. But of course, you shouldn't rely on that. But you do want to play it kind of safe. as these guys, these things, they really do hurt quite a bit, especially the wizard. Wizard or witch? I keep saying wizard. The witch. I keep saying wizard. My bad. It's the witch. Bit of lag on the stream here, but it's whatever. It'll be better in a second here. But we can't one phase the guy. Sometimes we could if we got lucky, but he has a little shield attack which blows up, so they don't want to stand in front of that. But the witch attack is very much scarier. But the witch is very weak in health, so it's just the knight is just tanky. Now we kill the knight. We're gonna go ahead and get the next Soulfire Thrall, which is either left side or right side. And the wizard, or the witch, is just a bit scarier when it uses its ability. But the difference between the knight and the wizard, or the witch, the witch spawns in those jails, these hive jails. The knight activates the shrieker, so it's up to you. But the witch is easy to kill as it has a lot less health, and if you can get the rotations in for ignitions, you can do a pretty one phaser pretty easily. So I'm gonna super first because almost 1/3 of its health. Dragon's Breath, Craig Shot. You can see the health is melting. We gotta be very careful with that ability. That ability, the wizard spawns in. It's just very scary. But you can see I took a little bit too long in the beginning of the mechanic or DPS time, and I kind of messed up. But we would have one phased the the witch, unfortunately. I don't know why I keep saying wizard. I'm cooked. But you can one phase the witch easily. Now this part, we're 12 minutes in. If you have better DPS, you can do this in 14 minutes probably. More than enough time with that. This part where you gotta be very careful. The jumping on this, it's just annoying to do, and timing. So it's just a lot of practice. This one, you gotta practice the jumps for this. There's not much you can really do. If you mess up, it's 15 seconds of respawn time, but checkpoint isn't that bad, I guess. So do worry about that. So here I like the crack shot, this acolyte, and you can make this jump. It's a very long jump, but I like to use all your ammo. Don't worry about wasting your ammo. Of course, you do have to fight the ogre in the next room, but you will get all your ammo back in like the menagerie hallway room with the soulfire things. So just try to get in this room as fast as possible to avoid all the ads. But you will get a lot of ammo back, and you will get stacks of damage boosts if you do die in these rooms, which I did die, and it did suck quite a bit. But it is what it is, though. We got this run, we got it done, and I died like 3 times. So you don't have to be flawless, but it does help get extra time at the end. I could have beaten this maybe like 2 minutes on the clock probably, but I messed up. Anyways, this room, I got a bit greedy, but this room you want to use all your ammo and try to kill the ogre as fast as possible. You are able to finish the ogre, which I try to do. I do recommend trying to kill all the ads before that, in that room before me, because if you do die, you will spawn that room instead of far back. But here, I tried to quickly finish the ogre, which he was finishable, but for some reason, it did not proc. So we did die. We lose all our stacks, but it's whatever, you know? We'll get it done. So as long as you kill the ogre, which we finished them off, you can see we gotta run out, try not to die again, and do the normal stuff, you know? So this room here, first thing I like to do, if you have it, which you should, I like to just blade barrage the knight as soon as possible. And then the plate with the stand on is a plate where they spawn. And all I like to do is just stand like on one of the very sides of the circle so we don't get hit by the soulfire. And then you're trying to farm as much headshots as you can. Get your Solo Operative buff up basically. So farm for ammo, farm for headshots, and try to stay on the edge while also capturing the plate and dodging the fire. You should be able to survive as long as you're generating orbs. That's why I have this gear tied with attrition orbs. It just keeps spawning orbs. And then the knight always spawns over here, so just walk forward and try to do as much damage as you can. Of course, if you're using Dragon's Breath, do make sure that you're not standing next to the guy, because he'll run up to you, and if you have it onto it, then it will just kill you pretty much with your own Dragon's Breath. But of course, this is just not a respawn restricted area, so you can die, but you do lose time when you do die. Every time you kill or do a plate, it will add new enemies. So here in second plate, we will have these orange knights of swords, hive swords, and shields. Third phase will have ogres and some more acolytes that will spawn. But like I said, just keep farming, headshots, precision kills, and making sure you're paying attention to the soul fire. As a soul fire, the way it procs, you'll see a green glare on your screen when you're looking directly at it. If you're looking away from it, you will not see it, which I think it does kill me, unfortunately. But I'll try to have my super again because I generate so many orbs, and then try to find the wizard. The wizard should be in the back corner, basically, but we're kind of just stuck when these fire is coming up. You see here, I think I do die soon here. Yeah, soul fire popped up, unfortunately, but just gotta keep pushing through, you know. That's all I could tell you. It ain't over if you die, so there is that at least. Just makes it more of a sudden death than anything else. So could just try to, I guess, to stay on the very edge of the circle and killing ads and getting your ammo and getting your stacks pretty much. So now, this next part, it's all just traversal and just knowing where to go and how to go. It's not much how to go fast. You just got to know where to go. Honestly, not much to really talk about here. You're just trying to traverse and just take the right, best, easiest route to climb, I guess. Best way to say it. So for this part, it has a bunch of ads in it. Just try to use your abilities as best as possible. Get those connections down. Throw my knives out, crag shot, then knives again to proc everything. And you do be careful with this tunnel. You do want to wait. Just wait around. Do not risk it. It's just annoying. This just do not tempt it at all. This one, just want to jump over this big laser or laser fire. Now, what I don't recommend is to don't tempt this one either. I don't trust it that much. I could have made it, but I didn't really want to try it, so I just wait here. You know, just stay at the front. You could just be at the beginning. It's fine. Now, this room here with the Shrieker, you just gotta kill enough acolyte for it to be activate the Shrieker. So maybe like 5 or 8 acolytes you gotta kill, and then the Shrieker will start to attack. Just try to use your knives at it or anything as fast as possible, and the door opens up as soon as you kill it. And then now we're at the boss. At this point, it takes about 30 seconds to run there from here to here. So that's when you know that's how much time. So 4 minutes to kill the boss, which is more than enough time to kill the boss. Like I said, my best time I've got in here was about 6 minutes, which is a super lucky run with this build at least, without any movement tech. But as long as, at least that you know that you don't need grapple, you don't need eager edge sword to get here fast enough. You have more than enough time with this amount of time to beat the boss, at least with this build or any other OP build that exists. I'm sure this is recorded. This video is recorded in the first week of the update, so I'm sure there's some crazy stuff that's going to happen in the long run of this game. So anyway, so let's start off with what we do here. Since I'm running low on time, to speed things up, I try to use Dragon's Breath as best as possible to just throw it at the the witches. But you can mess it up, which I did mess it up. It does speed up the process quite a bit. Do one thing to note: when the soul fire is on that brazier, do not walk behind there. Not even like next to it. Anywhere behind it, it will just kill you. So just try to stay in front of the brazier, or you will just die pretty much. So now all the wizards are dead, or witches are dead. You're gonna go ahead, and I like to super the boss because we're gonna get a super later in the run. So I'm gonna just use it now. It's not gonna be a waste because you're gonna not hit the health gate. Not gonna overkill, I guess you could say. And it's the same rotation as you would normally do for the boss. So there is that, right? For all the bosses that we've been doing. Now, when it comes to the worms here, I don't know the pitch perfect shot to hit it from the outside. I like to just go around. You do have to wait for the white mechanic to hit at least one time, and just try to watch for the beam of where the worms will spawn. For me, it got lucky and it spawned behind me, so I like to pick up the worm. And like I said, I like to just go from the sides and just be careful and pay attention to the white mechanic, so you're not getting touched by the white mechanic in the middle of the room if you walk by it by accident, right? So you see here is about to pop right now. Let's wait for a little bit, and then here we do DPS. You have about like what, 30 seconds of DPS, something like that. So you have enough time for at least 2 DPS phases for the amount of time you have. So we're obviously going to be doing the same rotations here. What I like to do is try to go to the platform that you had your worms on, because you shouldn't have any ads on there, and just try to just lead him, lure him towards that. And then you just don't have any ads. And then whenever he comes close to you, just go, because they can't walk over that the backside of the brazier because there's a lip there. So you're just gonna just kite them around into a corner where it can't move anymore. And that right there is about half its health after the health gate, so it's not that bad. So you know for a fact, at least 2 DPS phases, you'll be able to kill the boss. Right now, I have to wait for the wipe hammer to proc, and then we look for the beam of fire, and that is where the worms will spawn. You do the same thing as you did, pretty much. Nothing's different. Normally, if you do enough damage to the boss, it will spawn a yellow bar knight and a yellow bar ogre, but you can see they're not spawned in because I didn't do enough damage to the boss, which is great. So I don't have to deal with those. That's all around. I guess around the L of his name, it seems that it's not enough damage for those guys to spawn in. So luckily, we avoid that extra ads. Now we have our last final damage phase with 30 seconds left on the clock, which is more than enough time. Well, it's more than the DPS phase that gives us. We have our super, and then we should be able to kill the boss pretty easily here with enough time, about 10 seconds of DPS here. And then as soon as we beat the boss, we got the emblem to drop instantly, and we got the triumph. That's a new PB, and there you go. So that is the emblem, that is the triumph. Like I said already, you don't have to be solo to do this. You could do this for a party, but if you want to challenge yourself and test some builds out, then there you go. That's the route I take. That's the build I use, and yeah, emblem is pretty cool. I'm wondering if there's an Oblation 3, but I don't know. Everything's classified, so I only know 1 and 2. If there's a 3, then maybe I'll find it, or somebody else will find it. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and that's that.